Okay, so I just gave you the permission. I tried to record, but my internet connection is so weak that it just crashed. So yeah, thank
I think
you.
we are recording now. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so then yeah, everyone, welcome to our discussion, this week's discussion about the political economy of Korea's economic growth. And maybe let's start with a small summary so that we make sure that we're all on the same page. So when we're talking about the subject, we're not talking about Korea in the beginning of the 20th century, but about South Korea after, basically. And yeah, just to like shortly summarize, after the Korean War, of course, the Korean Peninsula and South Korea was like really, really devastated and very, very poor after the war. And so within a very short time, South Korea managed to become from one of the poorest to one of the most richest or well-developed countries in the world as we know it today. South Korea is worldwide famous, not just for media, but also like for like technology and all sorts of things. And as our professor explained in his video, like in the lecture, and also in this PowerPoint presentation, you can see that they did it with very like smart, like of course with help from the allies. It didn't all just come from South Korea, but with the help from the allies and certain tactics, they were able to develop the country again. Yeah, maybe someone else can take it from here or wants to say their reaction. I'd be very happy about that.
Anger.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, yeah, as Aziza said, Korea was like a really poor country at like Korean War, and after like few decades, of course, Park Chung-hee president have like bad things also, but he really make a lot of economic growth in South Korea. And from that time, I think Korea became like rich country, and this day Korea is rich. Yeah. What can I say?
Okay, maybe just to like support you a little bit here. So you mentioned President Park Chung-hee. I don't know how you talk about him in Korea, like in Korean history class. When we study Korean studies in Germany, we of course also talk about his presidency and that it's a very, very controversial thing. That on the one hand, it was very, very strict, like a dictatorship, some would call it. And other people are trying to focus on the positive and say, hey, if he hadn't done the things he had done, Korea would not be the way it is today. So very, very controversial president, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. It's also the same in Korean history class. So
yeah, really.
Yep.
So
but
when you talk
days,
about
like
no, please go ahead.
These days, I think Park Chung-hee presidents like I think like these days Park Chung-hee presidents how can I say it? These days people think about Park Chung-hee president like more
positive
negative way. No,
Oh,
these days I think like negative
really?
way. Yeah, because like I think in Korea, like we have like two parts.
Yeah, two big
yeah.
political groups get
Yeah.
divided
Yeah.
left and right.
Yeah, that's right. And but these days, this is a left government, right? So I think like these days, when we learn about in history and everything, I think these days we are like affecting by this left government. So it's not that really good. Thinking about Park Chung-hee president, but I think like he have bad part, but because of him, like Korea grow here. So it was like he is like we have to see positive effect, I think.
Okay.
And maybe also like seeing it a little bit, he did something good for the economic, but then on the other hand,
Yeah, he tried to.
it was bad, but like
He did
both
coup
sides-
d'état. Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
And he tried to keep his president place in bad ways. So that's the bad parts of him. But I just want to make sure that there was a positive things, sure, about the economy. He made a highway crossing the country, like south to north. So that made a lot of things to make easier because of the highway, and also like heavy industries and any other. Do you know Hyundai?
Yeah.
Hyundai company.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that Hyundai company grew up with Park Chung-hee. So like that.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure that it's true that there was a good part because about economic way.
Yeah, that's true. But these days, like they are like hiding about it and just reveal like negative effects. So I think I don't like that.
Because we're in Daegu, right?
Yeah.
It depends on the city a little bit. Just let's not talk about this.
Okay.
All
No,
right.
please, you can talk about this. It's okay.
This is a little bit political, but like, how about you, Hyun-suk? What do you think about it?
It's really a controversial issue in Korea. Of course, President Park affect lots of effort on economy, and while he did some bad things, I could say he harmed the democracy of the Korea, because he tried to keep his presidential seat while after his president era is ended. Yeah. And yeah, that was my point.
Yep.
I don't really know about how to tie with this problem, but the one thing for sure is that do you know President Park Geun-hye?
Yeah, that's his daughter.
The daughter of she was how do I say, fired? No,
she made some mistakes.
Yeah, she also had quite like some scandals, and that's why they
that's right,
released her from her office, right? Like there was like some things. Didn't she? Isn't that also the reason why Samsung is not doing so well nowadays?
Yep, that's right.
Because of that, because there was like this like money.
They give
like,
money, money thing.
And also the thing with the Sewol ferry that also happened while Park
that was critical, right?
And I think a lot of people, like most people, really used this to sort of get her like out of the office. I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Like that was like that was even like in the news in the West 'Cause,
Oh, really?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, because you could see like people going like protesting on the streets and because of
yeah,
that. And like with the yellow ribbons,
Yep,
wasn't
that's
it like
right.
yellow ribbon?
Yeah.
That's about
yeah.
Sewol Ferry. Yeah.
Yeah. So because they dealt with this thing so terribly, that or she, like president, yeah. So yeah, coming back to like maybe the actual topic, like economics.
Yeah.
So Park Chung-hee, he was president for quite a long time, longer than usual,
Mhm.
or longer than other presidents, I guess. I just looked it up again because I forgot how long. He was the president from about 1961 until 1979, so like 18 years. And I think, isn't it normally like how long is 4 years? Yeah.
Oh, is that 5 years?
Yeah,
Wait,
and
wait, wait.
Yeah,
4 or
years.
5,
Sorry, sorry.
Five.
Okay, one
Okay.
time. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and maybe you can get re-elected again, so maybe it's 10. Does it work like that?
No, in Korea,
Mhm.
we can't re-elect it.
Okay,
Just one time.
just one time. Okay.
Yeah, just
I
5 years.
see. Mm,
Yeah.
Okay,
Germany
I
is
see.
really much longer than all because in Germany it's 4 years and you can be re-elected four
Mm.
times. It can
Oh.
be 6, but then it's really a long time for Korea.
The president or the chancellor in Germany?
No. Angela Merkel, for example, it was now 6.
Mm. Oh
No,
yeah,
just
yeah.
comparing.
Yeah. Okay.
So finally, the question
Yeah.
Mhm.
was it, I think it was, what comes to your mind when you think about Korean chaebols? What kind of social, economical, and political effects chaebols have on the Korean society? Maybe we go on with the question.
Yep.
Okay, Anna.
So if I understood it right, if
Uh-huh.
not, please correct me. But chaebols are big companies in Korea that are from a family and they
Yep.
have a close relationship to the government. Is that right? To this point? Okay. Yeah, and then I was thinking about some positive and negative points. I think for the economy, it can be good because they help each other, but on the other hand, maybe there can be a lot of corruption. And if just one or two big companies have all the power, that other smaller companies can grow. So I also see, maybe I see a little bit more negative points in that. Yeah, so that was the first came to
Mhm.
my mind. Maybe someone else can something more think about it.
Well, as someone who doesn't really know that much about economics, when I hear like the word chaebol or the way you described it, Anna, like the basic definition of it, I also don't really think very positively about that, mainly because one of the main issues, not just in Korea, but worldwide, is that the difference between the lower income classes and the higher income classes is getting bigger and bigger. Like the rich people are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. And especially in Korea, there's a huge problem with elderly people being very, very poor. That's a huge problem here. And when I hear something like chaebol, I think, well, is the money just going to stay within that family? And if, for like, some needs a new chairman, a new president for that department, they're of course going to pick their son. Very, very fishy, but maybe that's just, yeah, I'm always suspicious of people with money. And especially if it's like within like generations and generations. If it's some like people
Mm.
have this fantasy about that it's so easy to become rich if you work for it, but I feel like yeah, it's a fantasy because like people like Donald Trump or like Alan Jeff Bezos or like what's the guy with Tesla?
Elon
What's
Musk.
his name?
Elon
He went to
Musk.
space. Yeah, Elon Musk. Yeah, people always say, "Oh yeah, he worked so hard for his wealth," but that's not true. Like they did have financial support from their family and everything. They did come from a good background. And so when I hear Shebo, I also think that it's a lot of money that stays within a certain group and that certain group, and not everyone is going to profit from that. So
And they even
Are we fine with that recording?
The internet here is very bad, so but it keeps recording every time. I don't know what's going to happen. So
it's okay, I think.
Whatever.
maybe what
We did.
Aziza said, like
Yeah.
money stays with the already rich group and they just take more advantages if they have a good relationship to the government. And also what came to my mind, for example, if there are elections and the government wants to have like friends with a lot of money, so they can also, I think, do a lot with that money and just stay and have more power.
Mhm.
So I think I agree with Aziza and go more to the side like negative thing.
Yeah, in Germany we have the saying, eine Hand wäscht die andere. So basically, if I'm going to help you and you're going to help me, like we help each other and work together to achieve our goals. So presidents or other people who want to keep their political power get money to help with their election campaigns and stuff like that. And people who are working like for certain companies are getting political support when they are planning to do something. For example, this is not in Korea, but an example from Germany. There's this huge issue that the charcoal and oil companies, they were supposed to stop what they're doing or like at least like reduce better energy sources, but because there's a lot of political interest and a lot of money going, the companies basically pay the politicians to extend their period so that they can sell their their products that are not good for the environment for longer. And I think that's stuff like that happens all over the world and probably also in Korea. Like if there's a company that doesn't get rid of their residue, like their trash or something like that, and then they'll just pay the government officer and then they'll just can do whatever they want. Like maybe that's paranoid, but I think it's a very like realistic problem all over the world. Yeah.
I try to find maybe a positive point. If I mean, in general, I think it's more negative, but just to see it in an economic way. If there's a big company with a lot of money and still gets help government, so it's still with a lot of money and power, maybe they can do more with investments in research and development. So finally, maybe they find more new things than smaller companies. And finally, the country maybe sells more and exports more to other countries. So that could be a positive point in an economic way for the country. But yeah, not for a lot of people.
So as for me, I think like Korean chaebols, of course, like they had a very great impact on Korean economy, but like it was, I think it's social issue because like this economy improved because of people who was working at the factories in bad conditions, like they had really small wages, really very long like work days, and there was like a lot of strikes, as I know, because like people, workers on the factories were like almost dying because of this work. They just wasn't living, they just was working for it, and just this people, group of people, chaebols had the power, had the money because like of their work. And I think that it's not like chaebols had not good impact on social like in society of Korea, and on politics too, because like I don't think that presidents of like conglomerates and companies should be in political structures. They are businessmen, but they like can decide something in politics just because they have power, they have money. And I think that it's like it's not their work to decide like something in laws, in politics. They should do their works like in companies. But when it turns in politic, when they just decide people's lives, like how they should work, how they should live, I don't think that is something right. So I think that in economical sphere, they have good impact. What about social and political? I think it's bad. Yeah, that's all.
All right. Not a businessman. I did basic business. So I just wanna. There's one thing that I want to talk about: sports in Korea, sports system. Actually, there's a special thing that all the 회장 뭐라 하죠? 회장?
Chairman, President.
Yeah, chairman, president of Korean sports development was always from 재벌, rich guy. For example, the Hyundai company, the founder of Hyundai company was in the PowerPoint too. He was Jung Ju-young, and he was also chairman of Korean sports development. And usually, I mean, not usually, almost every year, every time, the chairman was from 재벌, who has a lot of money and the founder of a company like that. And actually, that was a pretty positive thing in sports. I don't know about politics. I'm not going to talk about it, but for the sports, especially, do you remember the 2002 World Cup?
Yes.
It was in Korea, and
Yeah.
that was possible because of Hyundai company. Because Hyundai company, the founder of Hyundai company, Jung Ju-young, was a leader in that time, and he really wanted the World Cup to be open in Korea. So he paid a lot of money, and the Hiddink was Korean soccer team's coach. Yeah, and that Hiddink wanted to make a new team, complete new team, and make a new soccer system in that team. But usually, when there's like political reasons, and the old guys in Korea, they don't really want a big change. But the Jung Ju-young, the Hyundai company, because he had power in sports system, so he just made everything possible. They just don't care about the old guys in Korea. That just don't listen to them and just do whatever you want. Still, because of that, they could make a complete new system in sports, and they paid a lot of money in sports. Like they made a new stadium, like that, all the things in the cities. I don't know. Yeah. So in sports way, I think 재벌 is doing positive things. Yeah, I just want to
Really
say that.
interesting.
Yeah,
because I
amazing.
think
Yeah,
it's
that's interesting.
very important to see like a topic not just from one side. So that was really interesting for me because I didn't know that. So like for the sport it was maybe positive, or maybe also for the economic way, but then social and political maybe not. So I think it's important that we see the different views. So thank you.
I just want to say that that effect from sports became a also good effect for social and economy too, because I believe because success of Olympic, that kind of big world event could come to the economic growth, right? Because the people come to visit to Korea to see that, and also social way that in Korea people really they were very proud of the result of 2002 World Cup. So everyone liked it, and it was a party for a year, a whole year. Like everyone really loved it in Korea. So I think that finally comes to good positive things in social and economy too. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, even if I wasn't here in 2002, as you may know, the Football World Cup 2006 was in Germany. And we experienced the same thing. It was basically a huge party. People from all over the world came to Germany, and it was actually an important moment in German history too, because Germany had a very like a mixed reputation. A lot of people around the world like Germans, and a lot of people don't because of what happened in the wars. But the World Cup kind of showed people that Germans are very hospitable to strangers, and that you can go to Germany and not be afraid of like racism, that it's not the Germany of the 1930s or 40s anymore. And so yeah, there was a huge deal for Germans in general. And so that's why I think I understand what it means to have the World Cup in Korea, I think. Also, Korea did really well in that World Cup, right? I think you made like 3rd or 4th place.
Yeah, 4th.
Yeah. Oh, after Turkey, right? Sorry.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. No hard feelings. No.
Oh, yeah.
I think about Chaebol. As you guys say, I'm like, even though I'm freshman, but I am like business administration. Actually, I don't know about, anything about it, but I think like because of Chaebol, it is like money is distributed to like lots of people. I also agree with Aziz's argument. Aziz's argument, but I think like Chaebols pay a lot of tax, like really a lot of tax. So this government, Korea government, will distribute money from like Chaebol's tax. So for example, like few months ago, Samsung's chairman president Lee Gun-hee died, and I'm not I can't remember word. Inheritance text. Yeah, inheritance text. Yeah, 상속세.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to pay inheritance tax. So Samsung sell lots of stocks to pay tax. So like I think Chaebols can attribute to distributing money, and I think like also they will make lots of working place for people. And I think like this is also about like it is also about like how can I say? This is also about like political thing. Few people, some people think about it have to be distributed, and some people think growing is first. So like few presidents ago think about like growing is more important than distributing. So they are like they help a lot to Jaebol. So Jaebol, by Jaebol, Korea like grow a lot. Like for example, like Samsung or Hyundai or thing. But these days, this government is pursuing distributing. So they are like a little bit stopping Jaebol and to help lots of small and medium company a lot like that. So, and also like if they donate or like that, it can help Korea economic. And I think like about society aspect, Jaebol is not helping to society aspect, because Jaebol have lots of strength by money, so they can do like whatever they want. That case was when it Park Geun-hye president. So yeah, in society that's not good, and in political also it's not good. So like, yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, first of all, thank you for all these informations. I mean, you were very modest when you said, "Oh, I'm just a freshman. I can't really help that much." What you talked about, you sounded very professional, really. So
I really
no,
don't
no,
know.
no, please, really, thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
You
So,
told us about a lot of things that I didn't know about, not just because of the field of economics, but also because like of Korean economics, especially. So thank you for that.
Maybe I can add one more thing. Shaper group like Samsung, Hyundai, they also contributed lots of effort on education as well. They offer some program for middle school or high school students. In this year, I am on the program that Hyundai is running for. I participated as a teacher for middle school student for teaching English and math for local children's center.
That's nice.
So I think Jaebol Group quite good impact for society as well. But I can also say that Jaebol Group sometimes make some troubles for society. For example, this is not a big company like Samsung or Hyundai, but some big companies' son or daughter make some problem with drugs or drive after they drink alcohol. So they make some trouble.
There's some more peanut.
Yes. I don't know exactly about the story of the peanut story, but there's a group named Hanjin. They on Korean Air, and the story was I'm not sure, but the story was the daughter of Hanjin Group boarded airplane to US, I believe. And you guys know that when we take the plane, the cabin crew gives peanuts for snack. And this daughter, I don't know, but she blames cabin crew. I don't eat this peanut, and she was very angry at cabin crew. So the plane has to go back to the airport.
Yeah, they
So
return
it
to
was,
the airport.
yes. So it becomes quite a big issue in the Korea. And I believe she went to the prison for this case.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
So,
She did?
yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. I heard about that peanut story, and yeah, that's one of the things that why I think so negatively about people in power and people with money, because a lot of people with money, not all people, of course, but people who grow up with money sometimes think that they can just do whatever they want, and that because they're rich, it gives them the right to make a whole plane land and just go back. WTF? I'm sorry, but no, I don't want this peanut. No, go back, please. And everyone in this plane has to go back. Like, that's ridiculous. And
Yeah.
stuff like that. I mean, of course, that doesn't happen every day, but yeah, a lot of times people come into an establishment, into a restaurant, into a shop, and think that they can just do what they want. Actually, my older sister, worked for Lufthansa, the German airways, for a long time. And she also told me stories about certain celebrities that were very, very unpleasant. For example, one singer who wanted to paint her nails on the plane. And as you know, nail polish smells very, very strongly.
Oh yeah.
And of course, if you do it in a closed plane, everyone's going to smell it. And so the flight attendants asked this person, can you maybe not do that? That's not very nice. That's for everyone very uncomfortable. And this woman, this celebrity, was just such a bitch about it. Sorry for using this word, but she took her nail polish and she
Are we
poured
recording?
it. She poured it out. She took her nail polish and poured it on the seat. And
What?
yeah.
Bitch.
And she's not even, she wasn't,
Yeah.
I even forgot who that was, but it wasn't even that big of an international celebrity. It was some German celebrity. And yeah, again, maybe we're drifting off here into the negative sides, but this is not about me hating rich people. Sorry about that story. But yeah, that's basically my peanut story for the day. Thank you for listening.
All right, I just want to add, this is the last one. I just want to add one thing. And as Aziza said, the second generation of the chaebol used to be rude to people because they grew up in money. They believe that they can do everything. But like, that's the reason why people used to think negative way about chaebol. But I believe that that's one another reason that why they could grow up really strong. That company, I mean, look at Samsung and Hyundai like that. Almost every company in Korea, it's grown up by the family, the second generation, third generation, like that. So I just want to say that they could grow up like that strong because they keep all the things in their family and they teach their son, daughter, and they learn about the company, they learn about the economy. And when they grow up and they become a chairman and they keep their father's mind, the founder's mind and business way like that, So I think that's the reason that why they could grow up really strong, like Samsung and Hyundai. But just, well, I said last thing, but let me add one more. So, because I usually think positive way about the jabbers or the rich guys who have money. So do you know about the dogs who help blind people?
Mhm.
I don't know how you call that, but I don't know English name. But so there's only one school that teaches the dogs for the blind people, and that is made by Samsung. So there's only one in Korea, and like the founder of Samsung is Lee Gun-hee, and he was a big fan of dogs, and he really loved dogs. So after he knows about the dogs can help blind people, he made only one school by using his money, and that helped a lot of people, blind people in Korea. So I just want to say that they keep making
Mhm.
positive effects, good effects to social and many other parts, economy like that. At the same time, they're making bad effects, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, thank you first of all for that argument again. If we look away from certain rich people who misbehave, of course, companies do good work. Like companies like Samsung, they make really good products that are very, very high in demand all over the world. And they are important for Korea's economy. But what I'm wondering is just the story you just told us, Pumin, that the founder of Samsung liked dogs, so he made this, founded the school. I wonder how many more things Korea needs or that is in demand, but because the people that need it don't know anyone from a big company, will not receive the help. Maybe I said it in a weird way, but I hope you know what I mean. Like, for example, the guy from Samsung, yeah, he thought, okay, I should do the school, so he did it. But maybe there's someone, I don't know, maybe like Pullman, you have a great idea, you want to help people with a certain idea, a certain thing, but because maybe you don't know someone from a big company, maybe you don't know any chaebol, or you're not a chaebol yourself, you don't have the money, you don't have the what it takes or what you need to do that, to realize your idea. So of course companies do really great things, but yeah, I'm just wondering, maybe there's more things that Korea needs or that would help Koreans. For example, the old people, if we come to that again, like, is it really like, wouldn't Korea be better if if it were maybe a little less rich on the top, but on the bottom, like the elderly people would be less poor? Like, I think that's like a very, very big issue here. Like, if Korea could just try to help elderly people more, for example, or other people who are disadvantaged, I think that would be a lot better than having super rich companies and everyone in the whole world using Samsung phones or driving a Hyundai car or something like that. You know, that's just my opinion. Sorry, I'm so negative today.
No, that's fine.
No, it's a yeah.
Always
That's my
there's a
job
bar-
here.
Getting a balance, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone else want to add something to that, what I just said, or something else maybe?
I think for me it's all set, so I don't have new ideas.
Okay.
What about
Yeah.
Diego?
I'm okay, thank you. Yeah, well, like
You can have the closing word for today if you want.
oh,
No,
thank you.
that'd be great.
No, well, like to summarize what you have already said, I think like in the same negative perspective for as he said, for the big conglomerates like controlling the South Korean government, because I can think like pretty much a lot of situations in which I can relate South Korea to my country, because yes, very big companies has such a big power, and not only in like the economic environment, but the political environment as well. Like they like CEOs has enough power to control like nearly all the country, like who is in power, and like they also have like privileges as the chevos with like um, the the imports fees, like very low fees and all that stuff. So I like think that I mean it was necessary. I don't know what would happen if that wasn't like if it wasn't the case for South Korea, but I think you need to sacrifice some things to achieve others. So yeah, maybe it wasn't the best option, but what would have happened if it wasn't? If it would have been done? So maybe we will, like in the present days, we will have seen like a more agricultural country and not as developed as today's South Korea, with all the technological advances and all that stuff. So I think the sacrifice some areas of the economical how to say, like sectors, it was the correct way of development to be the country that it is today, South Korea. That's all.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Definitely, that's a good summarizing comment, I think. I think we could keep this discussion going for even longer, especially because I dislike rich people so much. But end here.
You're completely opposite of me. All right.
Sorry.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone else want to say something at the end of this discussion?
This is a little funny, but just Binsu
Okay.
just saw my Kakao Talk, and yeah, yeah, maybe we can just skip today about him, right? If we talk more, maybe he can come in. But if you're closing, we just skip.
I think we
today.
should. I think we should come to an end now, because we've been discussing this topic for a sufficient amount of time, and also it's like a bit late, and I think everyone is a bit tired and has to study also for midterms and stuff.
I have exam tomorrow. Oh my god.
Oh, and what
Yeah.
time?